Yes, you ready?
How's that? Call to order.
We're having
Here
a
we
few
go.
issues with our Wi-Fi this evening, so for now, you are in charge of your hot and cold microphones.
Perfect.
Charging my
If not, we'll just talk loud.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, July 26, 2018. We'll start with the pledge. If we can say, Director Joan.
Thank you very much. All rise. I pledge allegiance
Thank you very much. The open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Sunday, July 29, 2018 at 4 p.m., and Monday, July 30th at 2018 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district's website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Right now is a public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
There are no speakers this evening.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the consent items. Do we have any questions or comments regarding the consent items on the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move consent.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and second. Madam Clerk?
Director Gale,
Yes.
Gould,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Sheets,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
and Barnes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the action items, surplus of real property. Aaron Castleberry. Thank you.
Good evening, directors. I'm here tonight to request a declaration of surplus of real property located at 5148 Main Avenue. This site was our former Station 33, which has been closed since 2009. Subsequent to that, BLM actually leased the property until 2014, and it has been vacant since then. It's considered a permanent closure, and so because of this, we are requesting that the declaration be made. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Director Gill.
What's the difference? You say it's a permanent enclosure. Could it ever open again? That's eternal or what?
That has been that's been evaluated by our executive staff, and it has been determined that that location is not operationally viable for us, and so it is considered a permanent closure. It would not be reopened.
So that's the compelling reason why we're getting rid of it.
Correct.
Do you have any idea what it would cost, how much we can get out of it?
It has been appraised, according to the staff report, for $80,000. There's actually 3 parcels on the site, and the total appraised value is $80,000.
$80,000. Impressive. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that
Director,
clarification.
could I just onto that real quick?
Yes,
Director Gale, the reason why we look at a permanent closure is because of the response districts around there. Station 32 and Station 22, if you look at just road maps, are somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes without a Code 3 response to cover the area that 33 was in. Their third due company would be 7 to 9 minutes, and then Folsom is about 6 to 8 minutes away. The call volume when that station was in service before 2009 was very low. We have not seen any impacts. And if you look at the growth in the area and the activity in the area, we really don't see any change that's going to happen anywhere in the near future where that property would be back into or be in use again.
You know, as somewhat of a philosopher student, when you say permanent and all that, I can't really wrap my mind around it, you know, Schopenhauer or whatever, but if that's a good reason, then
Very good.
no
Thank you.
problem.
Director Gould, you had
Of
something?
course.
I just want to clarify that someone has evaluated the 7.37 acres of
Correct.
land in Carmichael and come up with the
Yes.
figure of $80,000?
Yes, the figure is,
It's also in Orangevale, not Carmichael.
it was appraised, and it's basically due to its current zoning and also the terrain of the lot.
It's right in the corner, isn't it?
And there's kind of a real
Yeah, I have a friend who owns.
ditch
the
ravine kind of thing.
property. Of course.
One of the parcels is landlocked. It's just,
Awesome.
Thank you for the explanation. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adopt.
Thank you. We have a motion. Can I get a second? And a second. Madam Clerk.
Dr. Gale,
Yes.
Gould,
Aye.
Barzali,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Sheets,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Kelly, and Barnes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Action item number, thank you for the presentation, appreciate it. Action item number 2 will be handled after closed session, if I'm correct. So moving on to the reports. President report, I do not have any at this time. Fire Chief's report, Chief's Harms.
President Barnes and directors, good evening. Just a couple of things as far as one retirement. Captain Bart Weatherly, 23 years, retired just recently. As far as promotion, John Paul Savani was promoted to BC, and that was just effective this past week. We spent a few days in here, the last couple days, going through with the mission-driven culture in the Metro way. We had our consultants come in, and we sat and had 3 sessions of full classes where we went through the survey that was done, that was shared with you about where we're at as an organization. We had a lot of good conversations about trust and where we are today and where we're moving forward to. We did some labor management meetings yesterday, just to kind of an idea of what we were talking about there. We had a young member came before and requested to come before the group, had looked at a proposal, and his proposal was to put a water extinguisher on all of the ambulances. They have a dry chemical extinguisher on there. It was really a great opportunity for a young member that had an idea is to bring it into the system where both labor and management was there. He was very prepared. He had pictures. He had exact cost. He had a plan that was laid out on how to implement it. If anything, I think that his whole thing was that it was an intimidating group to come before and do a presentation, but it allowed a great access for members to bring things forward and for us to be able to sit there, and we listened to it and said, let's move forward with it. The only last thing that I have is that we have a upcoming promotional ceremony that will be on August 2nd at 6 p.m., and that's at Rancho Cordova City Hall. I think that you all probably had a flyer that has just a number of promotions on there of ACs, BCs, captains, engineers, paramedics. So that's always a great night to sit down and thank the people and congratulate them on their new role and responsibilities within the district. So that is August 2nd at 6 p.m., Rancho Cordova City Hall. That's the end of my report, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Chief Harms. Any questions for the chief before we move on? Thank you. Moving on to operations report, Assistant Chief Neville.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Spend a few minutes to talk about some of the goings-on in the operations division. On Saturday, July 14th, we had a vegetation fire in the area of Elkhorn and Cherry Boulevard in the Rio Linda area. One of our engines, Engine 111, made national news that day. Unfortunately, it was stolen from the area during the mop-up phase of the incident, but it was quickly found by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office and one of our arson investigators. A stop was attempted in the Rio Linda area. The individual driving that attempted to play chicken with one of our units, and we got out of the way. After about 100 miles of chase and running out of fuel north of Oroville, the rig finally stopped. CHP did spike strip it and took out some of the tires, and it ran on an empty rim for quite some time. A few minor accidents along the way, but the big part of it is no significant injuries to anybody else other than the individuals that were in the rig when it came to a stop. A professional determination by the crew. They actually had another rig in service before that rig actually came to a rest an hour or just short of an hour later. So I'd like to commend the crew for, even though they lost their engine, they were able to get another one right back in service. So we saw very little delay in coverage for the area. We would like to acknowledge the help of the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, California Highway Patrol, Roseville PD, Lincoln PD, the Fulton El Camino Park Police, Sacramento PD, Sacramento County Park Rangers, Yuba County Sheriff's Office, Butte County Sheriff's Office for their professionalism in helping us bring this to a uneventful and again, national news coverage. It was quite interesting. But moving forward, we're looking at better ways to secure our rigs. The way that our engines are put together, that's for the ability to get people on and off the rig quickly to be able to respond to do that. So I don't anticipate any significant changes in what we do, other than we're doing a better job of shepherding our rigs at the end or the close of incidents, and keeping a better job of being more mindful about our surrounding conditions. We are making some modifications and additional layers to our ambulances as far as security goes as we move forward. We're probably not in a position to discuss that much more than that. Some of our other significant events we've had is fire at Aerojet. You have a slide in front of you that just kind of gives you a feel for the flame lengths that were going on that night. The interesting thing about the Aerojet fire is we had a significant resource drawdown in the county. Probably we did have an excess of 42 firefighting pieces of equipment there because of the values at risk. We had Atlas rocket motors on a trailer that were a significant threat or exposure, and if we would have lost one of those engines, then the wildland fire would have been very secondary. There was also some chemicals that are stored out there in some of the bunkers that were also significant events for us, but we were able to contain the fire after, I would say, I don't want to say heroic, but definitely the folks that were out there on two of the divisions. It was nip and tuck for a while, but they kept at it for a long time, and we were able to contain it on two divisions, then had a very successful firing operation to contain the backside of it and control the fire. Well, I'd again like to acknowledge the cooperation of the Sacramento City Fire, CSD, Folsom, Aerojet Fire were all very instrumental in providing mutual aid out there and helping us contain that fire. We also had the city of Sacramento had a second alarm fire going at the same time. The county got down to just about, out of all the engines available, we got down to about 2 engines per battalion and about 2 or 3 chief officers available. Command staff did come in. A fire over in the city of Sacramento had Chief Casantini, Chief Shannon, and then one of our assistant chiefs on the response, along with the city of Sacramento battalion chief. When he looked up and saw deputy chiefs and assistant chiefs coming in to help him fight fire, he knew there was a significant drawdown. So it was an interesting day for us. Also, I'd like to talk about Copter 2 went up to help CalStar up at Loon Lake, which is the picture you have in front of you there. We were called to help on a hoist rescue, and the hoist rescue itself took place at about 7,000 feet. This is just a picture of the guys coming down in. One of an individual who fell off his ATV couldn't be brought out by any other means, so we were called to come up and assist CalStar. Ironically, as we got up there and hoisted the patient out, it came to our attention it was actually the brother of one of our employees. So he was very thankful that we were able to get there. It was in such a remote area, there was no local government. U.S. Forest Service wasn't there. CAL FIRE wasn't there. It was just CalStar and us, just because of the location. Only a helicopter could get there. There's been an uptick in vegetation fires. I'm sure that you've been aware. The news has been having that all over, not only through our county, but throughout the area. We have folks that we just sent to Southern California to the Cranston Fire, which is in the Riverside area, and that's taken off and threatening the city of Idlewild, if you're familiar with that area. We do have folks on the Ferguson Fire, a couple of Type 3 engines, and then OES rigs up there, and they'll be timing out sometime on the 29th. We'll bring them back in, and of course, with the tempo we have going on, they'll probably get cycled out right again. Numerous overhead folks also being deployed currently. So with the hot temperatures, we're definitely seeing, again, an uptick in activity. In a report, without any further questions.
Thank you for the report. Any questions or comments from the board? Director Rosali.
With regard to the engine that was damaged, what's an estimate of what the cost of repairing that damage might be?
That's ongoing right now. They're pulling apart, and as they pull apart and keep track of the pieces and parts that are being that need to be repaired and or replaced, that's a running total now. What's being evaluated now is the frame and other pieces of the rig. So it's an ongoing process right now. At the next board report, I think we'll have a definitive number on what that'll be. I think we're cruising over or approaching $100,000 right now. So we'll have a more definitive report for you next board meeting.
And those expenditures, are they covered under our self-insurance, or how does that work?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. It will be insurance.
Stole it, have insurance.
Don't worry about that. I had forgotten. Director Gould reminded me that the people who stole it have insurance. So,
I'll refrain from comment.
Yeah.
Anything further from the board?
Yeah. Has that ever happened before?
There's
the history
been
of-
the theft of ambulances in the distant past out of the hospital area.
Right.
And we've taken steps to secure all that, take keys out, things like that. As far as the theft of a fire engine, in my 33 years of history, I can't really remember a fire engine being stolen.
I know.
We've had stuff stolen off of fire. We've had equipment stolen off of fire engines, but as far as a fire engine itself being stolen, very rare.
That's crazy.
Just way more efficient to do it that way.
Well, sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Not. Thank you for the report. I appreciate it, and appreciate the fact that we're looking to safeguard the equipment. As we all know, you got to leave the engine running sometimes to produce energy and the pump. So things happen sometimes, but I'm glad nobody was injured, and thank you all for keeping us updated as it moved forward. So I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Moving on to the local 522 report. Vice President Trevor Jameson.
Good evening, Board President Barnes, Chief Arms. Great to be here. Nice to be back. Last meeting I wasn't here. I always miss addressing you and seeing you and getting to chat. I'm just going to echo what Chief Arms said. He kind of stole my thunder. We had a great labor management meeting, and at those meetings, by and large, I think they're getting better. We're starting to have a better understanding how to move things through and make things work. The type of things that we can get done in there, some of the smaller things, and make quick decisions and that don't get bungled up in bureaucracy. But yeah, we did. We had a younger member who came and did a great presentation. It was great to see someone take that initiative, and then great to see what would maybe call the leadership between the labor side and admin. Basically say, hey, wow, great, good job, and everyone's on board. I hope we can do more of that, and I hope that the membership will see that and take advantage. Also, last thing I want to say, well, actually two more things. One thing is, obviously, it's busy out there. Our membership, whether it be out there fighting grass fires, structure fires, medical aids, the people in logistics, the mechanics, fire inspectors, it's busy. There's a lot going on. I got to report to you that the membership out there right now has a great attitude. They're doing a great job. They're working hard. They're representing Metro Fire. I mean, when I'm out there and I'm lucky enough to get mandatory to work overtime, and it's actually I really do enjoy it and being back out there with everybody. But it's just the attitude out there is great, and I just want to echo that to you, that you have a great group of people that you're representing to your constituency. And finally, next week, our next board meeting, I will miss this meeting. Sorry, I hate to miss the meetings, but I will be in Seattle for the IFF convention. It's the 100th anniversary, and I think it's important to recognize that and how the labor and the fire, communities have come together to create what we have today. A lot of the resolutions that you see amongst that convention have to do with firefighter safety, delivering better service, making sure that EMS is in the forefront. So it's not just about, special interests. It's about interest of the community. It's about interest of the employees. It's about in the members. So I look forward to going to that and representing 522 Metro and Metro Fire, and then reporting back to you at the end of August. So that's all I have to say. Again, thanks again. It's always great to be here, and I appreciate it. If you have any questions for me.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? No. Thank you. I agree also with the member that came up with the new idea. I always say new eyes, new ideas. The only thing, my hope and my ask is, sounds like this one was very prepared. Hopefully there was that support and surrounding of when they do come up with ideas, making sure that when they come present, they have all the facts. So it's, as it was identified, it's pretty scary to get up in front of the membership and actually the leadership and try and present an idea that you don't know how it's going to be received. So I'm glad it worked out on this one, and working together that I think new ideas will come as we launch into the future. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to committee and delegate reports. Executive Committee, we do not have a meeting scheduled. Communication Center JPA, Chief Johnson.
Good evening, Directors, Chief Harms. The Comm Center JPA last met on Tuesday, where we discussed the Executive Director search for a permanent position. That's been posted in various publications out there, and the final filing date is approaching at the end of the month. So we hope to have somebody in place within the next month and a half or so once we go through that process. We also discussed just replacing some of the legacy equipment that we have with the CAD system to make it better, faster, and more stable. Our next meeting is going to be here in your chambers on August 28th. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there a
Sorry.
description of that position you have open? Is it open to the public or is it eternal?
Yes, sir. The job description has been posted, and that's for public viewing as well in multiple publications. I don't have a copy with me. I'll make sure that you get that, though.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. California Fire Rescue JPA Chief Shannon.
The California Fire and Rescue JPA will meet next September 20th, 4 o'clock, Cross Hall in the Sesk. Thank you.
Thank you for that extensive report. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. All right. Moving on to the Finance and Audit Committee. Dr. Kelly.
The Finance and Audit Committee had a meeting scheduled for today. It was canceled, and we will have a meeting on the 23rd. And it will be jam-packed, I've been informed.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Policy Committee Director Gould.
No report.
Thank you for the extensive report on that. We're going to move into closed session, but before, we're going to go move on to board members' questions and comments, so everybody in attendance today can head home to their families. Well, starting off to the far right, Director Gale.
I'm to the right, but I'm to the left. I have no comment.
Very good. Thanks for the clarification. Director Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to thank family members that are supporting the men and women who are not only providing the service in our local and regional areas, but now statewide. And it takes a big lift for those family members to stay home and continue to support. So I just wanted to thank all of them that are doing that. I'm sure they're nice when they would rather have their loved one at home. So thank you for all the sacrifice that they put in as well.
Thank you very much. Director Orzali.
Just wanted to thank staff. I had a brief meeting at the beginning of this meeting to demonstrate the information that's going to be on the new website so that an individual will be able to go in and pull down a menu that will show some of the internals and financials of the district, and I really appreciate the effort. I think it's a great step in increasing our transparency. So my thanks to everybody. I look forward to showing it to the board.
Thank you very much. To my left, Director Kelly.
I would have to say that I would echo Mr. Gould's comments. I have a son-in-law that's a CAL FIRE firefighter right now. And he's been spending a lot of time away from home, and I just I wish for his safety as well as everybody else in the fire family's safety.
Thank you very much. Director Clark.
Yes, I would also like to thank the men and women that work for this organization, whether they're in an ambulance or they're out fighting grass fires or whatever. I mean, it's mind-boggling sometimes that the guys have to wear those turnouts and all that in this 102-degree weather. Just me walking back and forth to my car, it's stifling. It's just it's amazing. But I want to thank them for such a hard for doing such a great job in those type of conditions.
Thank you very much, Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll echo what's already been said, and I also want to thank everyone who did turn out for the Tropical Affair this year. We had, again, 5 of our 9 directors there, which is a decent showing, but we could do better next year. You all know when it is. It's going to be that 3rd Saturday of June next year, so no excuses. Plan your calendars now. The Burn Institute raised in one night just shy of $65,000. And that's compared to $46,000 in 2017. So it was a great showing and a great turnout. So thank everyone that was part of Metro that helped make that happen.
Very good. Thank you. Director Sheets.
Good evening. I wanted to echo the comments from the other board members regarding the members and their family. Congratulate the retirees and the new promotions.
Thank you very much. Director Jones, fresh off of the great race.
Oh, thank you very much. My extensive report is no report.
Perfect. Going last is never fun, as I always say. A lot of great things have been said, but again, thank you to the support from the families and the personnel that are on home base, basically providing the external support for everybody that's deployed. I'll tell you, it's great to know that when people call for help, we can show up at resources, but also provide that service here. But it doesn't go without a cause, a strain on families, strain on personnel and resources here. So thank you for all that. Congratulations to all the promotees coming up. I unfortunately will not be here at the next board meeting as we will be on a nice vacation. So hopefully we don't see any of you out sitting in the audience when we come out of closed session. So have a good evening and mahalo.
He was almost going to say, and I hope to see you on the yacht.
All right, we'll go ahead. We got everybody back here. We'll get started. Call the meeting to order back in open session. We'll have a report out from legal counsel. Mr. Lauber.
Thank you, President Barnes. The board met in closed session on closed session item number 1 regarding the workers' compensation claim of Ron Phillips. The board voted to give approval to its third-party administrator to effectuate a settlement of that claim. With respect to closed session item 1B, employee Tom Hansen, the board voted to approve giving authority to its third-party administrator to effectuate a settlement of that workers' compensation claim. With respect to closed session item number 2, the industrial disability retirement pertaining to employee Tom Hansen, the board took no action in closed session. With respect to closed session item number 3, the government tort claim section 910 claim of Amanda James, the board voted to deny that claim and to give authority to the clerk of the board to send a denial of the claim to the attorney for Ms. James. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the report out. So we'll move back to, on the action item number 2, the industrial disability retirement for Captain Tom Hansen. As we were briefed in closed session, this is when we need to have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adopt the industrial disability of a fine fire captain.
Second.
Motion and a second, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Gale,
Yes.
Gould,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Sheets, Wood,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
and Barnes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And before we leave this evening, Chief Harms reminded me, and thank you for bringing it to my attention, regarding a fallen firefighter from CAL FIRE. I believe it happened on July 14th. A Brandon Varney was a bulldozer operator and succumbed to his injuries. He leaves behind a wife and 2 small children, so we'd like to close as Chief Harms has recommended. Thank you again for bringing that to my attention on a moment of silence prior to convening these meetings.
Amen.
Thank you very much. And this concludes the inning, we got a ball game going, the meeting. And we're going to adjourn to the next board meeting will be August 9th in these chambers at 6 p.m. Thank you.